Hey everyone, it's Nick Baldwin. I've got Leslie here. Hi, Leslie.
Morning. Good morning, Nick. Good to see you always.
How's everyone doing? Welcome back to another REALIFY Mastermind. And today we're going to veer a little bit from the norm, although it is very important, this topic that we're discussing today. It's how to prevent burnout as a real estate agent. And a lot of the things that we're going to talk about, obviously, are branding and marketing, but it's really important to stay mentally and physically healthy. A lot of times we can forget that we are the most important. I always say like and I always say an appointment with yourself is the most important appointment, because we tend to put those off and we start to deteriorate mentally and physically, and we start to get depressed and anxious and stressed. And we're always going to be stressed in some capacity, but we can definitely do things to lessen that. So today we're talking about self-care and burnout prevention. And today's fast-paced world, there's a lot of demands and responsibilities that just never seem to stop. And it's crucial to prioritize ourselves. So we're going to guide you through some understanding of the importance of self-care and recognizing burnout warning signs, discovering practical strategies to maintain a balance and well-being. So let's begin on the path to a more fulfilling and sustainable future together. You like that?
Yes,
Okay,
I
go
love
ahead,
that.
Leslie.
Yeah. So, number one is prioritizing your self care. And beginning with the importance of self care is really going to help you maintain and sustain a career over time. And I think that's the biggest thing that we tend to forget. And I love that you mentioned set an appointment with yourself, Nick, because it's so true. So, here are a couple of things that you can do to prioritize your self care. You can read a book, you can go to the gym. I find that movement always helps me like kind of get out all the frustrations or stress or feeling like something's not working. Movement is always good, whether that be going for a walk, getting outside and getting some fresh air. For me, too, it's like being able to feel the breeze, the sunshine on my face. It just a good dose of vitamin D will kind of shift gears and kind of keep things in perspective. Movies. Nick, I know you go to a lot of movies with your family. Like, again, it's just another shift of breaking the mundane and doing something different, taking the time to just completely be off your phone and unplug. And of course, we have to mention vacation, because vacation, I think, is always important. And if you're not really putting that and prioritizing that in your life, now is a time, because if you never prioritize it, it'll never happen. And then this is my favorite one, Nick, which I tend to not do, and I love talking about this because I need to do it more often, is take a spa day.
Mm,
Again, that's just another great way to be off your phone. I like bringing up phone because in this day and age, we're always on it. We're always swiping, we're always looking, and we're kind of filling those quiet time gaps with the phone. So spa days are a great way to unplug, because if you're getting a facial, number one, you can't be on your phone. That would be weird. And if you're getting a massage, number two, you can't be on your phone, because that would also be weird. So really being able to have those moments and just having that time to self-reflect, I think, is crucial.
totally, totally, totally. I just got my wife for her birthday. There's one of those those saltwater floating places where you go and like,
Oh, cool.
I just got her a gift certificates right down the street. So she's going to go and like float in salt water. I guess that helps. I don't know. I never done it,
So
but
therapeutic.
it's the newest thing. Okay. So isolation tank, Phil said, that's very good too. Let's move on. This is so important. And this is something that I didn't do early on in my career, and I really wish that I had. And a lot of us are failing at it. We're not setting any boundaries with our clients, because I think like as the market changes and things become more competitive, maybe there's less on the market, maybe there's a shortage of buyers, we tend to not set boundaries because we want to get that business, right? But you know setting clear boundaries between work and personal life and establishing designated work hours really helps maintain that that healthy balance. So let's talk a few things about it. First of all, if you're not doing a buyer consultation, you got to do that, because this is the perfect opportunity to set these boundaries, getting in front of the person. So establishing clear communication channels. You want to define how and when the clients can contact you. I mean, do this in a polite way, right? Don't be like, never text me after 8 o'clock. Just let them know that what your preferred communication methods are, whether it's phone, email, or text, and what hours you tend to reply to those messages. And definitely encourage them to reach out during the hours for non-urgent matters, right? Like if it's super important, obviously whatever, but just make sure that they are understanding, when you're typically going to respond. Now, a way to make sure that this happens is just keep in really constant communication with them, so they never have tons of questions. You're always answering those questions before they come up. That's also going to keep them from calling you at all crazy hours. Set response expectations. I just kind of said this. Communicate your response time for messages. Let them know that you're going to respond to non-urgent requests between a certain time of the day. That helps manage their expectations. You also want to create a standard operating procedure. So develop a clear SOP, which outlines the process and the timelines for various real estate transactions. So share that with them so they understand the workflow and expectations, right? Like what comes first, second, third, fourth, fifth, how they can expect the transaction to go. You could even create a booklet and print it out really nicely and give it to them. Do they still have the guide in the app?
Yeah.
Leslie? Okay, so
Yeah.
if you're using the KW sites or the app, you can have the guide there and customize that accordingly, and they can follow along that way.
Old websites still have the app.
Oh, wait,
Have the
what?
guide. So the
Oh,
new websites don't have the guides, right?
I don't know. I haven't checked.
Yeah,
What about?
don't.
Oh, okay. Well, either way,
Yeah.
figure out a way to keep them informed on the timeline of the transaction. Educating them on the complexities and of the timelines and of real estate transactions help manage their expectations regarding the pace of the process, like how long a home inspection takes, how long the loan process can take, those types of things. This is so important. The next one, limiting property showings. Your job is not to show them every single property that comes on the market. There's always going to be a house for sale. So establish a limit on the number of properties that you're going to show them in a single day to avoid exhaustion, maintain your quality of service, and to avoid confusion, so they don't start mixing up the houses. I hear agents saying they showed 40 homes to a client. That's not doing anybody any good, right? So one of my favorite ways to handle that is during the buyer consultation is to say, hold on a second, my cat is on top. Get down, Jack. No. Oh my gosh. This is my kid has a gecko, and we have a gecko, and he jumped on top of the gecko tank.
Oh yeah.
Not
that's
okay.
just- yeah.
Let's go back.
Want to keep the gecko alive.
Yeah. Limit property showings. Something that I say is very important to address. This is kind of how you could do it, right? Like, would you rather I spend 2 hours understanding what you need and show you 5 homes, right? 2 hours being the buyer consultation, or show you 500 homes and not know anything about your needs? Like, another way to address that is, hey, you work all week, probably, right? You probably have a regular job, probably work all week, and you're seeing homes on the weekend. I don't want to take up your entire weekend looking at homes. So I just want to get a really good understanding of what you're looking for, because there's no point in showing you every house on the market, right? So limit the property showings, and it's for their benefit, not yours. And then stick to your boundaries. It's so crucial to consistently enforce the boundaries and avoid making exceptions unless it's a genuine emergency. The moment you email, text, or call somebody at a time that you typically don't, you've just opened the floodgates and you can't take it back. So you got to stick to it.
Yes, absolutely. So true. And then we get into those moments where we actually need to delegate tasks. So remember that you could always delegate whenever it's possible, whenever you need it. And I always like to say be proactive about it. So if you know you're going on vacation, or if you know that you're taking a day off, perhaps find somebody that can help you, whether that be a showing agent or somebody that you could trust who's already in your office that can help you, right? And then that will allow you to focus on, taking the time off, and or you know while you're away. So proactively be ahead of that, so that when you know that you do have a needy buyer, you can set those boundaries, set expectations, and then leverage somebody to help you show those homes when possible. The other thing that we want to mention is like identifying your ideal clients. As we know, you all probably attract someone that's similar in your lifestyle. So really aligning those values with those people, I think, is crucial, because it also enhances job satisfaction, reduces stress, because you all know you're on the same page. And it encourages you to really define your core values of who you are and what you bring to the table in your business. So I think that that's crucial to identify that and align those expectations and conversations with your clients. And of course, this also brings satisfaction within your day to day. So if we know that it could be very stressful with working with somebody who doesn't align with your core values, I think and I believe that if you have those conversations right out of the gate, they are going to understand and also really support perhaps your day off, or perhaps your time with your family. Anytime you mention, I'm gonna, those are my 2 hours with my kids, or those are my 3 hours with my family, everybody is like, we totally get it. You need that time off, especially if you continue to show them that you are busy and you do have other clients, because that will eventually reduce your stress, and it will set those expectations with those clients who like are typically needy. And I like to say just proactively communicating, because nobody ever complains about over communication. And especially if you're proactive about it, right? Like, do you ever hear somebody say like, oh my gosh, you just told me that again? Like, no, actually, because they want to hear it. They want to hear what's happening in their transaction, or what will occur in the next steps. So this also increases referrals, you guys. So the more that you proactively communicate, you set your boundaries, people respect that. And the more that you communicate, you're going to have happy clients. So make sure that you're staying true to yourself and protecting your time. And of course, really filling those gaps with communication with your clients ahead of time, because they're going to say thank you. And as soon as they do, you're going to ask for a referral. And I love the last one, Nick, was focusing on marketing efforts. Again, like, the more that you communicate about your value proposition to your clients ahead of time, they're going to know what to expect. And this is, again, going to save time and yield better results, because they're going to know when their Facebook ad is going to come up. Perhaps you're going to have more of a streamlined way of communicating that. And so there's no real questions around it. So again, it's all about time management. And we're going to talk about time management in a little bit here in a second. After you, Nick.
Yeah. So in the Facebook group, for the live stream, my friend Jessica is commenting, and she said, play offense, not defense. You know how to anticipate what they're going to ask, or you know how to anticipate what they're going to ask you or need from you. So deal with it before they can even come to you with it. Yeah, exactly. So that goes back to the setting boundaries. So, create a standard operating procedure and educate them so they understand what comes next. And you're answering their questions before they ask them of you. And that's also going to keep them at bay. Okay. So we remember when we interviewed Jason Abrams, he said that, one of the reasons why agents burn out is because they do lead generation that they hate doing. So if you're doing lead generation that you love, then it's never going to feel like you're doing work that you hate, right? It's pretty simple. So create a lead generation strategy or strategies that align with your strengths and preferences. Explore methods that you enjoy, reducing the dread of cold calling and door knocking. So social media, whether it be creating a Facebook group like we talked about yesterday, or it be participating in other groups, or running campaigns, or just keeping in touch with friends and family, whatever it is. Client events. That's a huge way to get face-to-face with past clients or current clients. Creating blogs. We talked about how you can use AI to create blogs that Google really loves and creates a higher SEO for you. Video. We talked about different ways that you can leverage video, feature aspects of your neighborhood. You know, if you have parks, or if you have, you know, whatever it is, like I'm in Michigan, there's 63,000 bodies of water. I could do a video on every single one. You know what I mean? Like places where you can, you know, because certain lakes you can water ski on, and certain lakes you can't. So maybe I could do a feature on all sports lakes and which ones are the best, and so on and so forth. You know, stuff like that. And then, of course, buyer and seller seminars, whether they're virtual or in person, are really great ways to educate and get in front of buyers and sellers who have motivation.
Yeah, so true. I love talking about time management, Nick, because I talk about this regularly with my clients, and effective time management will really set you up for success within your week. And I always like to say, like, set up the most important times for you to move the needle in your business. And yet you also can time block. And most people will be like, okay, so I could time block lead generation, I could time block showings. I say yes. And you could also time block time off, or time block working out, or time block going for a walk. And so when we talk about time management, it's not necessarily just about your business, but what is going to set you up for success, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I cannot stress that enough for you. So be purposeful with your time, and you're going to see the results and have a happier business that you're running, right? And this also, it goes back into like taking regular breaks. So even if it's just like for 15 minutes, you need to stand up, or perhaps you need to like stop your showings and go home and take a 30-minute time to reflect, eat lunch. Like, I know a lot of people who are like, I totally forgot to eat lunch today. I'm like, how is that working for you? You know? And I don't know about you, Nick, but I get hangry. I get hungry and angry, and that is never good for anybody around me, right? So brief moments of just like deep breathing. I have an app on my watch called Mindfulness, and that just kind of dings my watch every now and then, that will say, take a moment to breathe, take a moment to reflect. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to like slow down and just take a second. So those two things, I think if you set yourself up for success, you're going to see the results in the happy scale.
Love it. Okay, let's move on to a routine. We hear a lot about routines. A lot of times it's ridiculous gurus on Instagram saying they wake up at 4:30 in the morning and they, you know, jump on the treadmill for 90 minutes, and then they go chop down a tree, and then they, you know, I don't know, whatever it is they do that's ridiculous, right? So you don't have to be like that. Just have to and your routine doesn't have to be in the morning. It could be an afternoon, an evening routine, whatever it is. But great reasons to have routines is that it provides you structure and consistency, and that helps reduce stress, because you know what you have to do every single day, that maybe it doesn't have to do with work, but it allows you to focus on your mental and physical energy more efficiently and on important tasks and goals. So let's talk about the reasons why having a routine is important. Consistency and predictability. Routines provide structure. They make it more predictable. When things are less predictable, when things are more predictable, there's less stress. When you know what to expect, you can better manage your time. Efficiency. If you follow a routine, it can increase your efficiency by organizing your day around a set schedule. This minimizes procrastination. It also reduces stress. So knowing what needs to be done and when can reduce anxiety. Routines create a sense of control, reducing mental health burden on constantly deciding what you need to do next. It obviously improves productivity. It allows you to allocate specific time blocks. You can tackle important tasks during your peak energy hours. And I'm a firm believer that there's really no such thing as work-life balance. There's more of a work-life counterbalance. Both things are kind of going to play into each other. So establishing a routine helps you counterbalance both work and personal life. And that's crucial for maintaining relationships, pursuing hobbies, preventing burnout. I know for me, there's certain things that I have to do every single day, right? Like it's not necessarily things that I do in the morning specifically or the afternoon or the evening, but there are things throughout the day that I need to do for myself, or else I don't feel like I had that productive day and I start to get more stressed out and anxious. So however you want to set it up, there's no wrong way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Professional development. So again, this goes into just your sanity that you so you don't fall behind. Stay updated with industry trends and technologies to stay ahead. As we know, we have command. As we know, we might have a PC coach in our office or somebody that can hold us accountable. Classes are plentiful in our market centers to help us grow. So tap into those, be aware and intentional around what you need in your professional development that will help you stay in your consistency and in your workflow, and also help you stay happy. So
Well, I
you
just want to say, like, real quick,
yeah,
I just want to say that I know how it can be to feel like you're not staying up with the trends and technology. It can be
yeah,
very overwhelming, and that can cause enormous stress. Like, I'll just
yes,
use command as an example. Like I worked with so many agents who were just like, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. Do I need to use this? Do I need to use that? What does AI do? I don't get it. I have to use that or I'm going to go out of business. And it's just, if you're able to continuously learn, continuously read, take time out of your day to, go over certain things that are happening in the tech world, that could be part of your routine.
yeah.
It'll help you stay up to date. You won't feel like you're falling behind. You just need to carve out the time.
And small steps I also think too, like just an hour a day or 30 minutes a day to do something around your professional development can help you not feel like you're falling behind. And look, if you don't have a plan, then you're never going to see the results. So have the plan, take the time to set an appointment with yourself, plan for extended time off. It's a great time to just recharge and rejuvenate. And then, and as a result of that, you're going to be more clear about what is the next thing that you need to do for yourself and for your business.
Love it. Phil says this class is a great example. Thank you very much. That's a
Hey,
good
good.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Same.
Awesome. So yeah, any comments, questions, concerns about what you guys just learned? I mean, this doesn't necessarily have to do with branding, but I think it's something that, like, it's so important, especially the setting boundaries. If you don't set boundaries, like, you're going to just lose your mind,
Yeah.
and then choosing your ideal client to work with. Jason mentioned that, we did a class on it, choosing your ideal client or your client avatar, whatever it is. Ebenezer is raising his hand. So
Cool.
polite. What's up, buddy?
I think what you guys talk about is really great, because when I started, I did the same thing. And talking about showing houses, I had a client that I show almost 100 houses to.
Oh,
And that
Wow.
was the mistake I made. And since then, I'm like, I will never make that mistake again. And so I started setting boundaries, and especially when I meet them the first time, letting them know when, and I use my kids as an example of, like, when I'm home and my kids are home, I have to pay attention to them. So I let them
Yes.
know if I don't respond to your text message right away or after 7 p.m., this is the reason why. And I let them know when I will get back to them. So that's really important.
Yeah, man. You know, it makes a lot of sense. You know, like if somebody who didn't work a job like us and they worked a regular job and they went home after work and then their boss calls them at 9 o'clock and says, hey, I need you to do this for me, this thing for me right now. And, you know, it's the same thing. It's like, well, I'm not on the clock now. This is my time. When I, you know, the next day when I start my business hours is the exact same thing. So yeah, so I appreciate that. Leslie's got to jump because she's a very busy coach and has lots of clients to deal with. And my mom is here. My mom, I hope you took big notes. I hope you took great notes on this, Mom, because it's something that you need too, right, Mom?
Good.
Hey, again,
Thanks,
I'm just gonna drop
everyone.
this. I'm just gonna drop this in the chat. I mentioned REALIFY, the training program. If you're interested in learning more, there's the link. Again, we're always going to do these every Monday through Thursday. But if you're interested in leveling up your branding and marketing know-how, just fill out that form and I'll send you some info when REALIFY launches officially. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'll send out I'll post this replay up today and I'll send out all of the replays for this week later today or tomorrow. So everyone have a great day and avoid burnout. Take those steps and implement them. We'll see you later.